The Valley and the Butte fires have burned a combined 138,000 acres of land so far and have destroyed hundreds of homes.
Flames burn along the hillsides as the Valley fire rages on.
Those hot spots are now flaring up.
As this photo shows, Anderson and her family had only minutes to leave before the flames came to their front door.
All the residents in this area evacuated, and you can see it destroyed homes in a matter of minutes.
The fire exploded in size. Trapped by erratic flames, the crew jumped a fence and ran to a barn. When it was safe, the injured firefighters were loaded up into the back of a pickup truck and driven to safety, then flown to UC Davis Med Center.
Those firefighters are tired, they're weary. As those crews come in, we're swapping them out.
So we're just going to check for residual hot spots, make sure it's safe for the community.
Some people are being allowed to come back to their homes.
The Napa County Fairgrounds in Calistoga is what many have dubbed Camp Middletown.
We really don't have nowhere else to go.
What took minutes to destroy is going to take months and even up to a year for people to begin to see some normalcy.
We know that this is going to be a long-term recovery for those survivors.
People are trying to help each other.
Everybody wants to help everybody.
So let's start again.
It's the worst one I've seen in my whole career.
For 36 hours, these firefighters have been trying to save homes in the path of the Valley fire.
Right now we're trying to burn this pocket of fuel out to make a safer zone for the house, so when the fire comes up, that it'll bump the already burned vegetation.
I heard one gunshot, and then I looked over outside, and people were running away from the building.
From students to parents to staff, this tragedy impacts so many lives in a town where most people are connected.
And there's no way you can ever expect something like this, and we didn't.
When you talk to these families, you're reminded that this could be happening to your child.
The healing process is just beginning here in this small community.
Doesn't matter. He's dead.
Trina Trejo claims to be the aunt of the man shot dead this afternoon at Sac City College.
Flowers and pictures sit in a parking space at Sac City College. Students expressed concerns about the emergency alert system.
We didn't really hear anything about it. We had to learn about it on the news.
It took a moment for them to realize that this was a serious event. So that's something we're going to have to work on.
The Sacramento Police Department tells Fox 40 investigators now consider robbery suspects Charlie Ola and Tavita Kahia persons of interest in the death of Roman Gonzalez.
Things are a lot more calm tonight on the UC Merced campus.
Investigators say a UC Merced student stabbed 2 students, a contractor, and a UC Merced employee.
This is Byron Price, who walked into that knife attack in a second-floor classroom as a contractor and emerged a hero.
We have a very brave construction worker that stopped this from going on.
Muhammad planned to zip tie students to their chairs, stab a cop to steal his gun, and then start shooting.
His plan went haywire because people fought back.
San Bernardino and Shedden. We can see one guy down. There's one guy in the back of a car.
We had multiple officers that were involved in the shooting. We have 2 suspects that are dead at the scene. One is a male, one is a female.
If you look at the amount of obvious pre-planning that went in, the amount of armaments that he had, there was obviously a mission here. We know that. We do not know why.
At least 14 lives taken by these shooters. Fox 40 does have team coverage for you tonight. So let's get live now to Nicole Comstock in Southern California for us tonight.
This whole neighborhood has just been on standby. Police have told them to stay in their homes.
We are now investigating these horrific acts as an act of terrorism.
Spencer Stone, Alex Scarlatos, and Anthony Sadler. Those names now linked to a heroic split-second decision.
I just looked over at Spencer and said, let's go.
Once we saw him go, we had to go join him.
Take down an armed suspect aboard a high-speed train in France.
They represent the very best of America.
3 local men who ran towards danger, saved lives, and lived to tell the story. What would you say to them if you got to see one?
Good stuff. Great job. America loves you for that.
We have a continuing team coverage of our Hometown Heroes Parade.
It makes you proud to be from Sacramento.
They're real-life heroes right here in Sacramento.
Early this morning, Stone was stabbed again, this time during a night out in Midtown Sacramento. His injuries are serious.
Wounds to the torso are obviously significant injuries that are potentially life-threatening.
Stone was taken to UC Davis Medical Center with 3 stab wounds in the torso. He underwent surgery for several hours. The chief medical officer would only say this about his character.
I suspect, given his history of his recent events, he's quite a fighter.
Sacramento has already celebrated this fighter, throwing him and his 2 fellow hometown heroes, Anthony Sadler and Alex Carlatos, a huge parade. And today, Stone's family released this statement expressing their gratitude to the community, saying they appreciate the outpouring of love and support.
Look at this turnout, only Sacramento!
Of all the startling things you might see on Twitter these days, you'll find this question. Am I next, KJ?
Police report indicates Johnson apologized to her, saying it was just a hug that went too far. These allegations come just 3 months after the mayor's former aide filed a claim against him, alleging that Kevin Johnson sexually harassed her.
I think it's really time to put the focus back on the needs of the city of Sacramento rather than on scandals or improprieties.
My job is to not be swayed, is to focus on the job at hand, and my commitment has been to continue to do that.
I have no type of respect for you guys.
In a week where the hits for him just seem to keep coming, and it's only Tuesday. ESPN was delivering the punch, postponing the TV premiere of a documentary featuring Johnson's work to save the Kings.
I had to soul search. I talked to my family.
Wednesday, he announced he will not run for a 3rd term.
Golden One Center is changing the cityscape in the heart of downtown Sacramento. Once complete, will be the most intimate NBA experience in the league.
You want to kill the pain and not the patient.
There's no question that opposition has been mounting.
If a doctor is grossly negligent under this bill, they get a free pass. Is that good public policy?
A major setback for legislation that would allow terminally ill adults to end their own lives.
If we have anything to say about it, the bill is not dead. We are looking at other options for continuing to move the bill forward this year.
Governor Jerry Brown has signed a bill that would have allowed Brittany Maynard what she really wanted.
I hope to pass in peace.
To end her suffering in her own bed in California.
SB 277 is now law.
The vaccine battle is over. It requires nearly all children to get immunized to attend California public schools.
As the bill was being debated, anti-vaccination protesters kept up the pressure even after the bill was passed.
SB 277 opponents continue to protest at the Capitol, despite the bill becoming a law.
We're not going away. This issue doesn't go away just because the bill has been signed.
SB 277 goes into law in 2016, and it will be closely monitored once school starts in fall of 2016.
I knew Aaron and Denise were innocent of this hoax, and I knew they were victims of a kidnapping. I'm so glad that they got vindicated on this.
The Vallejo Police Department called the entire case a hoax, even before detectives were able to question Denise Huskins following her release from captivity.
I don't know how they did it, honestly. I don't know if I could have done it.
Mueller, a Harvard graduate and disbarred attorney, was first identified as a suspect in the case after investigators say he left his cell phone behind in a botched home invasion in Alameda County.
Family knows through their resilience, Aaron and Denise will put their lives back together. They also hope police will learn from their mistakes.
This is probably one of the top 5 worst situations I've personally been involved in or seen.
As Yolo County Sheriff's detectives piece together how and why 21-day-old Justice Reese died, they are looking at a recent investigation by CPS into his mother's alleged drug use. Officers found the baby's body late yesterday morning in the Ridgecut Slough.
The baby's mother, Samantha Green, remains behind bars, charged with her son's murder.
In the criminal complaint against Green filed yesterday, count 1 reads, Samantha Green did commit a felony, murder. She did willfully and unlawfully kill with malice aforethought.
An infant has died here. There's obviously something has gone wrong. Where was her mindset? Was she suffering from postpartum depression, and whether or not that's a viable defense here?
Jadiana's body was found burned in a field in Glenn County.
Grief counselors explained to the children their friend will no longer be at school.
It's sad to hear that she's gone, knowing that's her classmate.
Juan Rivera was in court Tuesday as the judge read his charge.
Murdered Jadiana Doe, age 6 years.
Rivera's original story to investigators was that he suffered a seizure and didn't realize his girlfriend's daughter, Jadiana, was missing until his mother came to check on him.
The mother is charged with being an accessory after the fact to a homicide.
The CPS report outlines a history of more than 10 contacts with Jadiana that began when she was just 2 days old for neglect.
And something I've never seen before looking at these files, many of the prior referrals to CPS have been entirely blacked out, entirely redacted. That child should not have remained in that home.
Get inside.
This tornado traveled in one of the most heavy populated roads in the small community of Denair. The fact that nobody was injured is amazing.
There's only one thing can do that, and that's a tornado.
We're Californians. We know how to hide under tables for an earthquake. We don't know what to do with a tornado.
She says everything she lost in the F1 tornado, she can replace.
Fences, roofs, and this once 100-foot-tall tree were all knocked around when fast-moving winds came without warning.
I was just thinking, oh my gosh, here?
For Standish, the tornado and its effects are still fresh, but he knows sometimes the unexpected happens, and all you can do is pick up the pieces.
The drought is serious, and we have to take serious measures to respond.
We are in a very difficult situation, and this is everybody's responsibility.
There was so little water that a record number of acres went unplanted.
Our overall acres were cut 40% at the end of the day.
You can't just switch crops unless there's a market for the crop you're switching to.
The bad news, the drought is severe. Conservation is never more necessary. The good news, collectively, California can do it.
It's cheaper, faster, smarter to conserve than any other option.
This car is getting clean with reclaimed water.
Being mindful of what we do and how we use our water is very important.
In a fourth straight year of drought, El Nino may sound like a welcome visitor.
We've been in drought for so long, people think, well, we could use all the rain we can get, which is true, but if it comes too much too fast, we're going to be in a flash flood scenario.
Uncontrolled streams and creeks where it can create flooding conditions in neighborhoods.
If it's anything like 97, 98, we could get pretty significant impacts in January, February, March.
Do you have an emergency kit in your car, in your house, or where you work?
The experts remind us it's better to over-prepare than to get left in the dark.
Time to get fed up. Fed up with these four, helping themselves to whatever they can grab.
Our investigators actually found the stories on Fox 40 of the prior two incidents.
That's right, we've covered this quartet of purse snatchers before, and now it's happened again. When these two women came in asking for a color, she said she'd be happy to help them out. But watch what happens when they've got her distracted. Watch the two women on the right of your screen. One gets down on her hands and knees and crawls behind the counter. She grabs Vivian's purse and stuffs it into the larger bag the second woman is carrying.
And then they say, hey, I have to go. I come back 2 weeks.
At Fox 40, we noticed the pattern, how the quartet is ripping their victims off. But we also notice who those victims are. Store owners, so far, all of them the same race.
That's what our investigators will be looking at and talking with the other detectives from the other jurisdictions, trying to figure out why they're targeting Asian businesses.
Now, Stockton police investigators are convinced it's the same crew, and they'll be teaming up with cops from other towns where this crew has worked.
The train was coming, and Chris Knepp had one thing in mind: save a stray dog that had run onto the tracks. But what he found wasn't exactly the pup.
And right here where these wood boards are, in the middle of the tracks, is where I saw a pile of fur.
Investigators say someone had dropped off a decapitated goat, rat, and chickens at the railroad tracks near the Fruit Ridge station on 26th Street.
Since the beginning of the year, we've had over a dozen cases of decapitated animals being left all over the city of Sacramento. Unfortunately, have yet to have leads until
this. For the first time, a person dropping off the decapitated animals was caught on Regional Transit surveillance camera.
We're working with Regional Transit as well as the City of Sacramento Police Department to enhance the video to see if we could potentially get a license plate.
If convicted of a felony, this person may be sentenced to 1 year in jail per count. Wilson Way in Stockton. It's a street many people will drive through, but not many choose to stop, especially when night falls.
It's not easy, and it's like a really risky lifestyle.
This woman would not show her face, but she walks Wilson Way looking for clients. She opened up about her life, but chose her words carefully. She looked over her shoulder with each answer. How did you get into it then?
I met someone.
She wouldn't explain who that someone is.
They don't have control of their
of their lives.
Joelle Gomez, the CEO of the Women's Center in Stockton, explains that someone are often known as Romeo pimps.
And that vulnerable 12-year-old girl is going to be easily persuaded by somebody who might be calling themselves their boyfriend.
They've been reaching out to possible victims with billboards like this one and offer them a way out. Back on Wilson Way, the young woman we met admits she's only been selling her body for 2 weeks, and already she's dreaming of a better, brighter future. Is this the life that you want?
No, not forever.
We don't drink the water here in Rio Linda. We believe it's contaminated.
She hasn't had one sip from her sink in 5 years. It was then, Anna Marie says, that she learned she was the 4th Rio Linda resident on her block to get cancer. She can't prove it, but Anna Marie believes that a known carcinogen called chromium-6 contributed to her cancer. And the fact is, chrom-6 is in the water. 55% of the district's wells are contaminated. That's 6 out of 11 wells with chromium-6 levels of 11 to 16 parts per billion. The state standard is 10 parts per billion. 5 of the contaminated wells are nearby. Who do you believe is responsible for fixing this problem?
If it is the federal government over there at the Air Force Base, we need to make sure that they're held accountable to get the water cleaned up.
What do you want?
I want whoever's responsible to take the responsibility, clean up our water. I want my grandson to be able to drink safe water someday.
7-year-old Evan Alexander is autistic.
I love you.
He suffers extreme anxiety, which, as his mom Erin says, makes doctors and dentist visits extremely tough.
I've called Denti-Cal several times, told them what my son needs, and they kept referring us to places that couldn't see us.
Without Denti-Cal, the Alexander family would have to pay close to $1,200 out of pocket per visit. This folder full of places that won't see her son.
And they either didn't see special needs kids, didn't take the anesthesia that he needed, or were so far away that my son couldn't physically handle driving there.
You have more and more people becoming eligible. At the very same time, you have fewer dentists that want to take this.
Carol D'Elia is the executive director of the Little Hoover Commission, an independent state entity lawmakers have asked to review Denti-Cal. D'Elia says dentists don't have any real incentive to treat Denti-Cal patients like Evan. Denti-Cal officials say they welcome the review.
I think that there will be some changes.
Renee Malo says their goal is to help those 2.5 million kids eligible for Denti-Cal use it. No one more hopeful that happens than Alexander.
TVs, washer and dryer, my refrigerator, microwave, stereos, my lamps.
All destroyed by this, a lightning bolt from those recent storms, an act of God to be sure, and Kiana thanks God that none of her 4 children were hurt.
It was like raining fire.
But who pays for the damage? Kiana doesn't have renter's insurance, something she says she'll never go without again. But the home's owner, her landlord, hasn't helped out either, saying that Kiana was supposed to take care of the landscape, and these trees are landscape. She said she hopes that Kiana will get some help, but it's out of her hands.
I just want my stuff back.
And Fox 40's Ben Deasy is live in Antelope tonight. Ben, neighbors are really stepping up to help that family.
You know, there is a silver lining to this cloud. We're here in Firestone Park in Antelope, where the ladies of Antelope have done some work to try to help Kiana out.
We had a raffle, and this is the proceeds from our raffle, and this is all for her to help with her family.
Awesome.
So we'd like to present that to you, Kiana.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
We all love you.
Thank
We're
you.
here to
Really
support you as a community.
Their 11-year-old daughter Genesis suffers from osteosarcoma, a type of bone cancer.
It's been real hard.
As the family's prayers piled up, so did their medical expenses. The last thing on Mike and Candy Rojas' mind was moving their family of 9 from their home where they've lived for 6 years. That is, until their landlord said they had to leave.
We didn't know where to even begin or start.
When the moving company 2 Men and a Truck heard about their situation, they volunteered to move the Rojas family at no cost.
We didn't know there was so many people out there that are willing to step up and help. Generosity of others.
In a city that loves its food, this is a story about food. and the people who bring it to you.
We have so many restaurants here in Midtown, and if everybody just did a little bit, you can just do a whole lot of good.
Maddie Johnson is a hostess at De Vere's in Midtown, but she's been moonlighting. Johnson organized a service industry turkey drive, fellow food servers and their customers pulling together to gather turkeys for Thanksgiving.
Everybody wants to be able to do something for that holiday.
And they sure have done something. After a key sponsor dropped out, Johnson wasn't sure she'd have enough birds to feed folks at 2 Salvation Army locations where she plans to put out a Thanksgiving spread. But her coworkers and her customers have come through.
We doubled what we did last year.
This family was in need of something to kind of change things for him a little bit.
Miranda's husband, Stephen, died when he crashed his motorcycle on October 28th. 9 days later, her car was stolen. Bryant McCarver is the one helping end that streak. The Fox 40 viewer and general manager of Shingle Springs Subaru watched Miranda's story Sunday night and knew he had to do something.
The people that I work with are wishing this family the best.
While she's still dealing with the loss of her husband of 20 years, Miranda now has one less worry to stress about.
So I think that's pretty awesome.
Wow, they really did a job, didn't they?
Only on Fox 40 tonight, a new air conditioning unit warming the hearts of a family in Stockton.
The Aravello's old AC was snipped off this concrete block and stolen from their fenced backyard. Shortly after, the expecting parents bought their first home.
We haven't even paid our first round of bills.
And the bill for replacement would have been a whopping $2,600 hadn't Fox 40 stepped in to help. We connected the family with long-standing Stockton company Rod Johnson Air, and they really stepped up to the plate, providing the brand new unit free of charge.
I actually appreciate the opportunity to do something for people.
Run is a run is a run!
Long before this run, catch, hit, or pitch, a proud Lodi tradition was born. Same game, same team, just different players. This is the story of the Lodi Templars.
1, 2, 3, Lodi! Let's go.
This is a beautiful remembrance of a sad day.
He was a go-getter, and I miss him because he made working fun.
He needs to be honored.
Officer Kevin Ton died on January 15th, 2013, and is the first Galt police officer to be killed in the line of duty.
It was especially important to start a tradition, don't like that word, but to start something so that we can remember.
Terribly excited. I just love this. This is wonderful. I haven't been in one of these in a long time.
When you're 90, like Eileen Lyda is, time is precious. And doing the things you always wanted to do, well, it takes on a whole new meaning.
Let's go underneath the wing.
There we go.
And there's a lot of little...
Rivets. Thousands of tiny rivets. They held the armor of the iconic B-17 together, keeping the 10 men inside safe as they dropped bombs under a hail of gunfire all throughout World War II. See that?
Oh, yeah. That was it. That was it.
That was you.
At Fox 40, we care about our neighbors, all 3.7 million of you. That's why we're coming out to your neighborhood. We're highlighting what's important and positive in your community, because you're more than just our viewers. You're our neighbors.
Get ready, Folsom. We're in your neighborhood Friday. We've got some extra cheer for the Folsom Ice Rink, plus how Folsom is poised to get bigger. We'll see you Friday morning.
Fox 40 News in your neighborhood, only on Fox 40. News that matters. The California Capital Air Show, presented by Sacramento County in partnership with the city of Rancho Cordova, celebrates its 10th anniversary with dazzling aerial performances. Fox 40 News will launch the air show live from Mather Airport Friday morning from 7 to 10. That night, get set for the heart-pounding roar of jet engines and the explosion of fireworks. Fox 40 News will go live with a special broadcast from 6 to 7:30. The California Capital Air Show, fireworks, fighters, and Fox 40. Fox 40 News at 6 starts now.
Flames continue to scorch land across Northern California tonight as the burned acreage just continues to grow, but containment also growing tonight.
Good evening and thanks for being with us. I'm Ty Steele. With the growing containment comes lifted evacuation orders for parts of the burn areas, but many have still not been able to get back to their homes. A very frustrating situation for them. The Valley and the Butte fires have burned a combined 138,000 acres of land so far and have destroyed hundreds of homes, thousands more still in harm's way. Our own Stephanie Cruz has spent the day in the Valley Fire burn area. She joins us live now from Middletown with the latest. Good evening, Stephanie.
Hi there, Ty, and we are in one neighborhood, at least what's left of one neighborhood here in Middletown. Some people are allowed to come back with escort to check on their pets and to check on their property, but not everyone is being allowed back into this burn area tonight. Now, we did hear from CAL FIRE on scene that they are looking at the origin of this fire in the town of Cobb at a shed on the 8,000 block of High Valley Road, and that shed was charred, the house itself unscathed. What they are not saying is what exactly sparked that fire. Again, so they are looking at the town of Cobb and a shed there as the origin of the fire, but not exactly what sparked this fire. And so far, we know that one fatality, one death has been reported, and that is coming out of Middletown itself. A retired school teacher here has died in the fire. Lake County Sheriff officials, though, say they do expect and that there's a strong likelihood that that number could rise because CAL FIRE firefighters are sifting through rubble. They are looking for bodies aside from checking on hot spots, and there are a number of missing persons reports. We were at the Napa County Fairgrounds earlier where people had a bulletin board, and they were able to post information looking for missing loved ones or people they haven't been able to connect with. So we don't have the full story yet in terms of injuries or perhaps, unfortunately, even deaths here. Now, people, as I mentioned, are being allowed to come back into Middletown. Some people are, and some people just chose to stay and not listen to the evacuations altogether. Nonetheless, there are signs of life here in Middletown, and we see this community coming together. Day after day, homeowners make the trip up Highway 29, hoping and praying.
I mean, there's so much information going around and it's not very accurate. So sometimes people say everything's gone and then the next day, oh, everything's fine.
She is one of hundreds evacuated from the fire area with no idea if her home and life belongings are still standing.
It's just sad to not know, and we have our animals over there.
For the officers, it's just as heart-wrenching to turn people away. Further up the hill in Middletown, signs of life as some people return home. This gas station and deli reopened this afternoon. It is the center of the town where workers see and hear raw emotion.
My home church, which is just down the street, we have a couple that are in their 90s. We haven't heard from them since Saturday.
After coming home to the ruins of house after house, it is a welcome and familiar place.
People are loving each other and helping each other. This is really an amazing community, amazing community.
It's a long road ahead for this tight-knit community where neighbors are more friends.
There is so many tears, there is so many hurt. A lot of people are checking on their homes. So we're having people that coming in and crying and saying everything is gone. And there is people are rejoicing that saying that their homes are standing.
As I mentioned, that deli, that gas station opened today. They're really the first people who are up here today, but they are a gathering place of sorts for the people who are allowed to come back in a trickle.
Right, not many people here at all today. And we do know, I just spoke to CAL FIRE in between last time I was here. They said about 200 people total were able to get escorted up, but just to check on animals and then go back down because it's just not safe yet. But there are a lot of pets that did not make it out with their owners, unfortunately. And today we went to the Middletown Animal Hospital, and they've taken in a lot of animals that have been burned or just that were left out here. Flames burn along the hillsides as the Valley Fire rages on.
Fire activity is starting to pick up because of the wind. Those hot spots are now flaring up.
In Middletown, the damage is done. Firefighters put out hot spots in the rubble, trying to prevent more devastation in an area where rows of homes have already burned to the ground.
So we're just going to check for residual hot spots, make sure it's safe for the community.
People are trying to help each other.
The people here are all the same. Nothing's really changed there. Everybody wants to help everybody.
This guy's a lover. Oh, that's the best dog. just love everybody.
At the Middletown Animal Hospital, staff has been helping pets that got lost in the fire. Some, like this cat, got burned.
We're just hoping that people will start looking for them, and if not, it'll go into an adoption scenario where we try to place them. So right now, none of the owners have been allowed back in.
The badly hurt pets are being sent to UC Davis Animal Hospital. Dr. Jeff Smith hopes the owners come in to look for them, but people who live in these homes are not being allowed back in yet.
It could take a couple of days to a couple of weeks. Again, this is still early in the stage of the fire. We still have a lot of work to do.
When they do come home, whether or not they have a place to live, the people of Middletown are sticking together because so many will be starting from scratch.
There's no lack of help when you're in a small community.
So as you heard there, Stephanie, CAL FIRE saying people need to just be patient. They're trying to make sure it's safe for people to come back. The fire really did kick up a little bit because of the winds over on Butts Canyon Road, which is near Middletown.
Yes,
so.
Even though they're anxious, they've got to be patient here and wait this out. Thanks,
Yeah.
Allie. And there's a lot of work to be done. Here are the latest numbers with the Valley Fire. 67,000 acres have burned so far. It is 15% contained. 585 homes have been destroyed, and hundreds of other structures are known to be destroyed as well. 9,000 structures are still threatened in this area. And the bit of good news, Christina, is that the firefighters are getting a break in terms of the temperature out here.
No, absolutely. The only bummer is winds, and we continue to see winds pick up at times, and really they've been sporadic throughout the day. They've been consistent as far as west to east, so everything pushing off to the east. It's those gusts that keep picking up at times and then tapering off. They are now at about 5 to 8 miles per hour higher than what they were about an hour ago. So we're seeing them pick up at times, and that's because we have a frontal system headed our way. In fact, here's a look right now at your satellite and radar. And I want to put this into motion and show you. We already have some cloud cover and some showers moving in, but most of these showers are fairly light in nature, and we're not seeing much out of it in and around the fire. What we will watch for is this system back. You can see still quite a ways off the coast. That could bring maybe 1/10 of an inch of rain to the Valley Fire area. So we'll keep a very close eye on that for sure. It's going to be cooler. The only thing we're really going to have to watch is winds, but hopefully we get a good amount of sprinkles up there. Stephanie?
Thanks a lot, Christina. We are following another major wildfire here in Northern California, and that is burning out of Amador and Calaveras County. This is the Butte Fire, and here are the latest numbers on the Butte Fire. 71,000 acres have burned so far, 37% containment, 166 homes destroyed, and 6,400 homes are still threatened tonight. Maren Austin continues our coverage tonight on our wildfire watch on the Butte Fire. Maren?
Hi, Stephanie. Yes, good news here at the Butte Fire. Some people from Amador County were able to go home today, but there are people who are still here. You can see several tents behind me because they have no other options. And then there are the people who are at home because they refuse to leave their homes, and not because of the fire, because of looters. Philip Gray lives along Railroad Flat Road in Calaveras County, an area under advisory evacuations due to the Butte Fire. However, he is afraid to leave his home, and not because of the fire.
There's been looting around here. It's been going on since this happened.
Gray is choosing to live without power right now to protect his home, he says. Monday, he dialed 911 after he tells us he noticed some people near his property dressed in fire gear.
I saw a truck parked in the middle of the road, and it was maybe half a block from my house. So I hollered down because there's been looters around, and they said, "Oh, we're with the fire department." So they pulled up to my...
They were dressed as fire
Yes, in
fighters.
an unmarked old Chevy. And they came up and they said, "We are marking out places to drop supplies like Gatorade."
A spokesperson from the Calaveras County Sheriff's Department confirmed 2 burglary cases in San Andreas and Arnold within the past week. Both areas are under advisory evacuations. However, that spokesperson also told Fox 40 Tuesday that the 2 burglaries do not indicate a larger looting problem. Plenty of residents, though, aren't taking their chances.
What do? You stay and protect your house and worry that you're not going to get ripped off, or do you take a chance and go down there worrying about your house if it's going to burn and still get looted?
Once again, just 2 burglaries since this fire started. If you think you see anybody suspicious, make sure to give local authorities a call. For now, we're live in Butte County. Maren Austin, Fox 40 News. Stephanie will send it back to you.
Thanks a lot, Marin. And there's been a tremendous outpouring of support from all over the state, not just the Red Cross, but smaller organizations and volunteers as well. So it might be confusing exactly who to donate to and what exactly to give. On our website, fox40.com, if you go to the homepage, there's a green bar across the top of the homepage, and you click on that for Butte and Valley Fires, and we give you a list of reputable organizations that you can donate to. And we're back out here live tonight. There's been some activity out here as we are in this neighborhood, and you can see behind us some of the firefighters, and it looks like some workers out here as well, kind of sifting through this rubble. They've been out here throughout the day making sure that there are no hot spots that do flare up. And again, the work continues through the night here in Middletown, and of course trying to get the rest of that fire contained. Ty.
A lot of work still to be done. Thank you very much, Stephanie. And again, stick with Fox 40 News as we continue to follow new developments in both the Butte and the Valley Fire. And new tonight at 6, a Texas Roadhouse server in Modesto claims she was sent home because she spoke Spanish on the job. She says a manager at the restaurant is discriminating against her because of her language, but restaurant officials say otherwise. Fox 40's Kay Racine is live in Modesto tonight to explain. Kay?
Ty, we spoke with a Texas Roadhouse employee who is upset because she claims she was sent home for speaking Spanish to a co-worker yesterday, but Texas Roadhouse claims otherwise, saying that she was sent home because of her performance.
I don't feel like I'm going to be treated equally as everyone else.
Sara Hernandez works at the Texas Roadhouse restaurant in Modesto. She says her frustration with her job stems from a conversation she had in Spanish with a coworker. She claims her manager came up to her and told her to stop talking.
She said, "You're being defiant."
Being defiant how?
By going against her, saying not to speak Spanish.
She says her boss sent her home on Monday afternoon for speaking in her native tongue.
Why am I getting sent home? And she said, the language. And I said, what about my language? She said, Spanish. You're speaking Spanish.
But Texas Roadhouse tells a different story, telling Fox 40 they celebrate the diverse range of languages spoken by their employees. They added Hernandez was sent home with pay after she was repeatedly asked to stop socializing and to focus on the restaurant's guests. But she claims there was no one there at the time and feels the manager disrespected her.
No, it's my language. You're violating my First Amendment. And she looked at me and she goes, if I tell you to stop, you need to stop.
Hernandez posted her story on the Congregations Building Community's Facebook page, where she volunteers. In the last 24 hours, the post has been shared hundreds of times. Hernandez says she shared her story because she doesn't want what happened to her to happen to anyone else.
I want people to be treated equally.
But Texas Roadhouse is adamant, saying they are an equal opportunity employer and that the issue has nothing to do with a worker speaking Spanish. This is not a language issue. This is a job performance issue. As for the co-worker who she was speaking Spanish with, Hernandez says he was not sent home. Texas Roadhouse says Hernandez is still an employee. Live in Modesto, Kay Racine, Fox 40 News.
All right, Kay, thank you. Golden Eats coming to the Golden One Center. Coming up, see which local eateries and which favorite items are on board to provide food at the new downtown Kings Arena. Welcome back. This next story really captured our hearts. A mountain lion kitten managing to survive the brutal Butte fire in Calaveras County. The little lion was found yesterday by a team of volunteers helping to recover animals left behind in the evacuation process. Witnesses say he was walking on a limp and appeared emaciated. The kitten was taken to a Fish and Wildlife lab in Rancho Cordova, where he is being treated for his burned face and paws. We'll let you know any updates as they come in. You Decide 2016. Republican presidential candidates are arriving in Southern California tonight, just one day ahead of the second Republican presidential debate. And our own Sinceri Tonsel is going to be live for us in the Simi Valley for that debate, and she gives us a preview tonight.
This will be the fourth time that President Reagan's library has hosted a presidential debate. But for staffers who have been through all of them, they say this one will be unlike any other. Everywhere you look, atop one hill in Simi Valley, everyone is getting ready for something big. Some places are set, others still in process. All of it to welcome the 14 men and 1 woman who want to represent the Republican Party in the next race for the White House.
In the other debates, the most we ever had attended by media was about 350. We have over 800 members of the media credentialed for tomorrow.
Real estate mogul Donald Trump on deck to be the big draw once again, considered heavily responsible for the 24 million people who tuned into Fox News Channel for the August 6th debate. This second Republican presidential debate will be just like the first in the fact that it will come in 2 parts. The first will feature 4 candidates, the second, 11. In Simi Valley at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library, Sincere Tonsel, Fox 40 News.
And Sincere Tonsel will be covering the second debate all day long for us, and that again is happening tomorrow at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library, and that is in the Simi Valley. And the early debate starts at 3 p.m. The later debate once again begins at 5, and we'll have coverage from Southern California starting on Fox 40 News in the morning and continuing at 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. All right, the first round of food and drink options to be offered at the Golden One Center have been revealed, and plenty of local businesses will be featured. 3 Paragary restaurants, including Cafe Bernardo, Centro, and Paragary's, will serve up dishes at the downtown arena. Lowbrow Beer Hall will offer their homemade bratwurst and duck fat fries. And the chef, ooh, it sounds good. And the chef behind Star Ginger Restaurant will serve up her Thai barbecue chicken. That's a delicious sandwich. I can't wait.
And the banh mi,
to see
that's
how
going to be, no, just so you know, I can tell you every single one of those places. You probably haven't been there yet.
I haven't been to them,
Every
no.
single one, so good. So it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be good. Let's go ahead right now. We're all hungry. We're ready for dinner, but let's talk about rain. We actually have some showers to talk about. A few light sprinkles even tonight with a better chance of showers tomorrow. We're seeing the leading edge of a system that's actually going to move through tomorrow afternoon, evening, and really into tomorrow night. But you can see some showers already starting to make their way into even portions of the valley. The most of it is falling to our north. We're not seeing much right now near the valley fire, but temperatures have dropped. Humidities are up. The one thing we'll continue to watch through tonight is wind gusts. Those have started to pick up a bit. Then as you head towards the valley, look at this. It's light rain for the most part. It's just sprinkles, but still it's something, and you can see the same thing as you make your way into downtown, and then up 80 and 50 with showers also continuing into the higher elevations. And we're seeing just a little bit of a mix of snow in there because it is cold enough right now that we could see a little bit of snow at the very highest elevations, even through tomorrow night. Those showers carry as you make your way south. And again, we are not seeing rain near the Butte Fire. So right now, Valley Fire and Butte Fire not seeing the showers they so desperately need. That could change, though, by tomorrow. I'm going to show you that coming up. Here's a look at temperatures. I had to show you this. Look at Fairfield, already at 65. We're in the 70s, nice and cool tonight. Overnight lows in the mid 50s, and we do have a very strong onshore flow. So that's something we will watch with gusts as high as 31 miles an hour through Stockton, Modesto, also into Fairfield. So yeah, open up those windows. No need for the AC tonight. Here's a look at your satellite picture. As I mentioned, we do have an area of low pressure. It is just to our north. It's bringing this initial wave through, but it's this stronger wave that's actually going to move through tomorrow. As it does, it's going to bring us that chance of rain. For most of us, it's going to be tomorrow night. In fact, here's a look at Futurecast. I'll advance this as we make our way into tomorrow morning. A lot of people worried about the commute. I think it's going to be fine. It's going to be cloudy. It's going to be cool, but it will likely be dry for most of us. It's not until tomorrow afternoon we start to see those showers up near the Valley Fire making their way towards the north. We still are dry, and most of the evening commute will likely be dry as well, with those showers starting to break up a little bit by 7, 8 o'clock. But then here we go at 10:30. Those showers start to fill in. So we still have the chance with that slowly starting to clear out. So as far as totals, it's not going to be much, but again, the chance is there. Up near Clear Lake, this is the area certainly we're concerned about. You can see near the fire by tomorrow afternoon, we'll already see some rain. We could see maybe a 1/4 of an inch. It's likely going to be about 1/10 of an inch. And then as you make your way towards the valley, it's not going to be much, but it might be just a little bit more than a trace. So here's a look at your forecast overall. We're going to see temperatures in the 60s along the coast. In the valley, only in the 70s with mostly cloudy skies, and winds tomorrow to about 10 miles an hour. There is your 7-day forecast, and you can see by the time we get into the weekend, fall is off. We're back into a little bit of summer. We're not talking about triple digits, but it's still right back into the 90s. Jim is off tonight. Ben, what you got?
Christina, we got to talk about some video coming out in the aftermath of the 49ers game last night, plus something else fans aren't all that happy about. Can you guess what it is? We're back, and back in black in just a minute. And welcome back. Graphic video coming out in the aftermath of the Niners' victory over the Vikings last night. The video is hard to watch. We are not going to show it to you here. In it, you see Niners fans kicking and beating a Viking fan who is down on the ground, kicking him in the head. Now, a witness who posted all of this on social media said the fans had been talking trash to each other. Meanwhile, police in Santa Clara are using that video to try to identify the assailants, and the stadium is planning to honor the guard working at Levi who broke it all up. Meanwhile, inside the stadium, couldn't have been a better start for Jim Tonsula in his debut as the Niners head coach. 20-3 victory over the Vikings on Monday Night Football. It was really running back Carlos Hyde, who was the powerhouse for this offense, goes for 168 yards, 2 touchdowns, replacing Frank Gore and carrying much of the load after Reggie Bush was knocked out of the game with a calf injury.
I just try to be that momentum builder for our offense, get the offense rolling, spark the offense, so we able to drive down the field and put points on the boards.
Obviously proud of the players and the coaches and the organization, and for a victory. Obviously a lot of things we need to work on.
There was one aspect of the game several Niners fans were not happy about, had them calling into the Fox 40 Sports office this afternoon with many a rant, and that was the new unis, that all-black Niners look, hitting a sour note with fans. But take heart, teams are only allowed to wear the alternate jerseys twice a season, so 1 down, 1 to go, until they will be back in black. Both the Giants and the A's in action tonight, plus Steve Nash looking for a new job in Northern California. We'll tell you all about it coming up tonight at 10.
All right, Ben, thanks a lot. And stick with Fox 40 News as we are continuing to follow the latest developments in both wildfires burning in our region. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you tonight at 10.